Good. I don't really know what to call it at this point. Is it the morning? Is it the night? Well, good afternoon for me. It's 12:30 for me. Yes, it's 12:30 in the afternoon. Hopefully you all are having a good day. Some of you are just ending the day. Some of you are just beginning your day. But hello. We're doing stuff today. I got my notebooks out. I've got some things there. You may be noticing the name of this stream being John Solo leveling at the Temple of the Mad Wizard. Now, I will say, you'll hear some fun noises as I readjust my my desk here. What is that sound? What sound are you picking up? I don't know. Okay, we're going to try something here. We're going to try something. You're going to hear me stand up. And hearing me stand up, you're going to hear horrible noises. So do not be concerned. Oh. Okay. So, my greatest fears has come true, and it does appear that I have to shut off my aircon. I have to shut off my good old-fashioned aircon. Luckily, I've been having it go, so it should be cool enough in here, because we're cool guys. But yes, we are. We're going to be working on the commission. Yes, we're going to be working on the commission, City on the Hill. Now, a little bit complicated here because, as you see, there's been a lot of work done. Ooh, hello, we've got a manly. Hello, don't worry, it's only the demiurge. You know, it's only the demiurge manly, as we all know and love. Yes, demiurge manly. Finally. Yeah, so City on the Hill. City on the Hill has... There's an ambulance outside. Yes, that was an ambulance, by the way. Yes, hello. But, originally this Hey there. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, Kalu Kale. Very hot in my room all of a sudden. Yeah, this is what happens when I turn out the aircon. It heats up. So, generally speaking, the thing right now for City on the Hill is that it has been paid for, and we're going to start working on it more seriously, well, the best of our abilities. The issue right now with it is kind of twofold. There's some issues that we could attempt to fix. So right now, as you can kind of see, here's the commission project. It's a dimensional merger fantasy. We're using that term here. And in that dimensional merge fantasy, it's more like 1632, that book series, if you've ever heard of it. And we need a life path, and we need a town path, and we have some essential notes and a lot of things. The current resolution system is the advanced boner system, inspired by another system about rolling under and rolling over. So effectively, let's say we take rank D. If you're rank D in something, you have to roll under 30 to actually save against it, or roll over 70 to act. That's kind of the basics of it. This kind of extends to most things. As you can see with like combat and such, and you see here, average save and X gives you various different derived bonuses. And skills aren't set skills. I decided to go against that and did more interpretive open-ended skills, so you can have a lot more stuff. I've been having notes. Like, I have a ton of notes about this. The issue right now when it comes to the pure number of notes is that a lot of those notes are me asking bigger questions. Me asking bigger questions and issues that we may be having. But I do have the idea of what I want it to look like. If I consult the magic internet machine, as always, God bless it. Generally speaking, I've been aiming for something like this. Kind of that wizardry was the key inspiration here. Yes, the old wizardry. You see a little bit of Dragon Quest there. I'm going to use that for some icons. But yeah, this is the general look. I'm like, okay, why are we basing it off wizardry? Because wizardry is very popular and it lets us kind of have a good baseline for things. And this is Japanese wizardry as well. Not necessarily. I don't know how much I want to. I put my arm in the wrong direction there. I don't know how much I want to do Wizardry Alice. I believe that's the Wizardry Daphne. That's it. Yeah, this is Wizardry Daphne. Technically, this is the newest version of Wizardry. Or Wizardry Variant. This is Wizardry Variant Daphne. It's kind of doing its own thing, and I respect it. But it's like, how far do we want to lean into that? How far don't we want to lean into it? But as you can kind of see, savoring the risk. Kind of see here. This is the, let me see if I can find, let me find the English version. There we go. But right now, like, this system functions enough. Not perfectly, but it should function. We've got our life path, and we have the idea that effectively you're not going to stick with your main adventuring party the entire time. You're going to advance and get a new set of adventuring characters, with the idea that if we assume that here's the town, every time you retire a character, they're actually contributing to the town itself to make the next character stronger. So there's a little bit of that, I hate to call it roguelike element, but there's that element of, oh, hey, I want to do this more. We're improving the town. And the town is getting both larger, it's getting, the town is getting larger, it's getting more things in it to make it a little bit more consistent, and shit like that. It's kind of like, hey, as the heroes of this town, you are deciding a lot more about it. Why? Because I think that's interesting. So yeah, here's Daphne. Yeah. Yeah, well, of course we got all our very basic classes, and we've got our very basic races. These are there's technically like set characters, but you don't need the set characters. It's a little bit strange. But yeah, going with that idea, I've kind of got the life path system, with the idea being that, like, you are technically playable at 18. Like, that's kind of the idea, like, quote unquote, you're 18, you're kind of more like the idea of like you're 16 and 19. You are now playable at this point, but if you take more careers, that you get older. But it's kind of the idea, like, yeah, you aren't, there's a 50-year time jump, you're not really going to be able to do anything. It's like your character's a little bit more fragile. That sounds a bit similar to what I was told how it works. KDM has some other quirks with it Mostly it being a lot more boss fight oriented, because that's what the game is about at the end of the day. The game is about getting into the boss fights and building up resources and things for the boss fight to, you know, build up the town for more boss fights. It does its thing. Here, it's a little bit more of a traditional RPG. It just happens to be you have a central home base that you want to continue building up, if that makes sense. Oh, here's my home. I want to make the home better so my next character can be better. So, oh. Oof. Okay, go there. Yeah, like the game is more about the generational advance of the town. Yeah, am I broken? Yeah, I'm broke, but I'm broke. I'm fucked. I'm fucked up. But so it's kind of the idea that you start as a traverse human, and later on you can start adopting more, you know, special races into your. How do I want to word it? You're adopting more special races into your town, allowing you to play them later on. So it's like, oh hey, here's my town. Oh, here's our town. Here's the kingdom of good people who do the good people things. You know, technically, over time, if we strike the alliance up, technically we're now like a generation later. Technically, our town is a part of this, you know, greater empire, and we enjoy the benefits of being in that greater empire. On the other hand, if our first real big encounter is the elves of the elf forest who do elf things for elf reasons, then we strike up an alliance, then we would be able to have elves. We'd be able to play elves our next time. Where the big problem with elves is like, yeah, elves are really good at doing a lot of things. The problem is they don't die. You have to more willingly retire them, and that takes time, that's effort, that's they're very powerful, but on the other hand, elves have the disadvantage of not naturally retiring. Which doesn't seem that bad until you have a player who doesn't want to ever retire their elf. And then suddenly, hey, wait a second. And that's kind of the idea of like, okay, how does your society end up changing over time? That's kind of the main issue, is like, how does our society here change over time with these elements of, oh hey, we're good friends with the elves. Oh hey, we are like we're God bless America, you know, God bless America, everyone's free here, so a bunch of people start moving to our town from like the Beast People Kingdom. Like, oh hey, we keep getting attacked by fucking orcs. Like, this is probably bad for, you know, for us. What do we want to do when we're encountering Orc City? You know, like, this is, you know, things like that. That's kind of the main thing. If you really think about a lot of those isekai anime or, you know, isekai manga or whatever. No, go away. You know, kind of those isekai manga. It's like, oh no, here's my town, but don't worry, everyone gets along in my happy little town. And that's kind of like where the basic character stuff comes from. Like, oh, these give you different bonuses, these give you different bonuses. And then you have your various skill careers, which we're going to have to write out a lot of those. They're not too complicated. Like, these will have like a fucking like sentence. Like that's the thing. You will have like a little like, these will have about a sentence between them. Not too exciting, actually. But it's kind of like, okay, I want to play a human, I want to play a fantasy human, and I rolled the d6. Do I have any of my dice around? I do not have any of my dice around. I'll have to find those. I know where they are, but I don't want to get them because I'm lazy. Actually, wait a second, they're right here. Ah, ha ha ha. You thought I was a fool, but instead, I've got my dice here. So, let's say I want to play let's get my D6 out. Where's my D10? There's my D10. So before you actually do the trap, before you are actually established in the fantasy world, is be like, oh, you only get those first 6 ones. But after you are established in the fantasy world, you get a lot more. You get a lot more options to gradually expand the possibilities of your characters. And then you go through your careers, which are just skills. They don't get any bonuses. And then your awakening. What's your awakening? Your awakening is saying, oh, hey, what cool stuff do you have? That's kind of the idea there. So, wait, are you doing green orcs and not pig orcs? I don't know yet. Yeah, like that. Generally speaking, I was. A lot of this was written during the Orc City fiasco. You know, so hell, we might do porks. I don't know yet. Cause like wizardry, if I do like wizardry orcs, like in wizardry, a vast majority of the time, like this is orcs. They're pig orcs. They're green pig orcs. They're green orcs. So I might be doing something like that. Just emphasize that. But you can have them be there's a few different ways of doing them, let's just say that. But there's a few different ways of doing a lot of these. And like there's a part of me that wants to have like a world generation system. Like, oh hey, what's our fantasy world? Here, roll for the basic situation. Here's some random charts. Like what what special races are in the are in here, and what are they like? Oh, the elves are whimsical fairy people. All right, cool. The dwarves are mountain-loving people. Things, shit like that. Like very generic levels of what is an elf, what is a dwarf, what is an orc, and kind of things like that. And then you like, how many special races do you have? There's a lot of charts in this game. I'm wondering. I thought I misread the elf description. No, they isekai elf, big tits. They're just elf from isekai. They're elves from isekais. No, not really. Weird that you're thinking about it, but yeah, like elf isekai, like a majority of the time, it's like, okay, they either have very normal tits or they have very large tits. Those are the two. Yeah, there we go. Hunting in another world with my elf wife. What's your isekai power? I have a gun. That's my isekai superpower, a fucking rifle. Yeah, yandere dark elf chased me to another world. Yeah, there's some funnies that you could do here, and there are some silly things that you could do with the various things here. That's kind of the point. Like, it's like, how generic can we make this fantasy setting and still make things happen with it? Now, yeah, this was my example one. Traverse human. What's your environment? What's your education? What's your various careers and things like that? It's like, yeah, when you first play a Traverse human, it's like, yeah, what job do you have? Oh, I'm a IT engineer. This is just like one of my Japanese animes. Yeah, like what does Otacon do in the fucking fantasy world? Probably not much, because he's Otacon. He's still incredibly smart, but he's Otacon. But yeah, that's kind of this is kind of the sample character. Yeah, this is the very simple sample character I've made, just to kind of give you an idea of what a character might look like. He's not even that great. He's got a lot of D rank stuff, but it's okay. Yeah, Traverse Hume is really only for the first character. And you notice the thing is they have higher health, but they have lower aura, which is to say they don't have magic as much, but they have a little bit more health than everyone else. They naturally are healthier. Yeah, that's kind of the idea is like, here's a good baseline for everything, and then as it changes, you feel more comfortable being like, I want to play a dwarf, I want to play a beast person, I want to play this. Like, okay, we feel a lot more comfortable playing those things, but also just saying, I want to play a human is also entirely valid. So this is this is kind of my basic ideas here. So, but if I were to bring up the combat system a little bit, when it comes to combat, I was gonna do a line combat system. Now, what's a line combat system? Line combat is, there are 3 lines. There is the front line. There is the, this is very difficult to do. There's the back line, and then there is the retreat line. So we'll do, let me find D&D tokens. Give me some D&D tokens here real fast. Okay, we'll do okay, these are all terrible. Where's it? Okay, so we'll use generic pretty boy elf here. We'll use pretty boy elf. Human. Where's a good human? ENG. Okay, you good? There we go. We'll do you. And where's like a, let me see if we can find a D&D token knight PNG. You working? No. Are you working? No. I hate Pinterest. I hate Pinterest. There we go. We'll use you. There we go. So here's our extremely basic concept behind this. So the idea is that if you are in the front line, you can use melee attacks. You're using melee, but you are in the front line. You are standing in front of everybody. You have priority to get your shit rocked. Everything is very average. So if I were to write this in, I would say this is your baseline. No stats have changed. You're in the back line. You have better dodge slash parry, which is kind of your defensive attributes, only ranged. So it's kind of the idea, like, if you're standing in the back line, you can only use a ranged weapon, or you're using magic or things like that. And then you have the retreat line, which is no actions cannot be targeted. So being in the retreat line effectively says, hey, I don't want to get hit. I'm gonna get hurt if I stay upside. So I'm gonna fall back to the retreat line. I am now safe. Easy enough to understand. Now, what I was thinking about doing is adding in the flank line. We'll call it the flank. And the best way I could kind of word it is the front line is like the forward line. So for as an example, into the forward line, it's pretty much you have all dodge, parry, must be targeted. You know, saying I'm in the forward line is saying, yeah, that's effectively saying I'm taunting now. You know, that is you saying I am taunting, attack me, I can take it. And that's very useful if you are, say, fighting people who are wanting to fuck your day up. But then you have the flank line, where if you're in the flank line, you end up with a better to hit considered in the front. So it's kind of the idea like, oh, well, you know, oh, you're in the flank line. Why isn't everyone in the flank line? Because technically right now, if he goes down, the person in the retreat line would go all the way up. it's being in the flank technically removes you from the back line or the front line. So if this were to happen, like, oh, well, we'll both go flanking. The guy in the retreat line would be brought up to the front line, and he could get mauled. On the other hand, you know, in a situation like this, you're both considered to be in the front line. Therefore, you both have the average to hit and things like that. And so the character over here in the flank line wants to be... This is where, like, your rogue is, who already has really high good, you know, ability to defend themselves naturally, to avoid getting hit, or you put someone in the forward line to make sure that he's safe. So it's like, okay, so that's kind of the back and forth there. What I was also adding in was the... I guess there's no real good way of calling it, but the Overwatch line in the far back. And Overwatch is... So, the Overwatch line is, okay, only range attacks, but you cannot be targeted. So if you have your archer in an Overwatch position, that means he can use ranged attacks, but he cannot be targeted by enemy attacks, which is pretty good. However, there's not always going to be an Overwatch line. You know, that kind of depends on the situation. I was thinking about what other things to add to this from this kind of baseline. The base 3. If we were to think of the base 3 here. You know, front line, someone in the back line, someone in the retreat line. And then we go to this, which is like, okay, here's kind of the taunt line, here's a bonus damage line, here's a way to protect yourself more. I'm like, I feel like there's more things we could do to fix this up, but I don't know what. My thing when it comes to the flanking line, when it comes to, like, everybody rushes to the flank line, it's like, okay, you have no one in your actual combat line anymore, therefore all of you would be considered in the front line now, because no one's really drawing attention. You're not flanking anybody, you just shifted around. That's kind of the idea of the flank line is someone is trying to rush to the side. To, like, oh, I'm gonna rush to the side and help. You know, that's kind of the idea there. But if, like, everybody moves to the flank line, congratulations, you've all just changed what the front line actually is now. Yeah, you've just changed what the front line is. There's a lot of exception clauses that I need to address. Like, yeah, these are your base ones. However, if you add the flank line, know that this is how it works. You can also roll modifiers during combat where maybe lines aren't available. What do you mean by that? Like, the ones that aren't available, like, some of them are very obvious. Like, Overwatch can go away pretty reliably. Flanking can go away fairly reliably. I like the idea of just putting forward in naturally. Like, just your base actual combat. The base actual combat system, you know, map has this now. Just kind of that I want to go aggro a little bit because this is partially inspired by one ring combat map. Where's the combat positions? A little bit inspired by this. Effectively, in the One Ring, you have to choose where you want to stand in combat. And what that effectively is entailing is, oh, are you standing forward into the combat? Okay, if you're standing forward into the combat, then you get a bonus to hit, but they get a bonus to hit you. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, here we go. This is... yeah, you're in the forward position, that means you're like, okay, I wanna fight you. It's very easy to hit you, but it's very easy to hit them. On the other hand, you know, if you're in the open or defensive position, you're like, it's harder to hit, but it's harder to hit other people. But it's kind of just adding it to that very basic final, you know, kind of that very basic idea here. I didn't want to expand it too much. I didn't want to add like the fucking paradigm shift system. I did that once and it was a fucking nightmare. But yeah, fairly basic concepts of like, oh, moving forward, moving back, and things like that. It's right now I'm trying to think of other positions that could be on this map. Oh, when it comes to ambushes, I have written something like this out before when it comes to ambushes. This was actually in Crisis Center. Fun fact, this was in Crisis Center. Effectively, in that case, what happens is this is your map now. This may look a little bit weird, but let me explain. So, your map now is that you have effectively 2 front lines and a back line. You don't have a retreat line, or you can't really go anywhere else. When you manage to defeat someone, you're like, okay, all the all the gribblers over here are dead. Therefore, this now becomes the retreat line. And you gotta, you gotta move up there. So it's kind of one of those situations where it's like, oh, okay. You know, we've been ambushed. We're fighting on 2 fronts. We're back to back. I've now made this retreat line. Someone who's weak may want to fall back. Someone may want to move up. You kind of reestablish the basic fighting lines. But it could be bad because, hey, here's the squishy little wizard. You know, like, here's the squishy little wizard. Now now you're in, like, this situation where it's like, okay, the squishy wizard's now in pretty extreme danger. And if he were to move back, these 2 would move forward because there's no front line. So it's kind of one of those things where you gotta like shift around. It gets very complicated. But yeah, there is a thing for that. Part of me would want to figure out a way to put forward in there, but I don't know where to put that. Yeah, when it comes down to like that, it's like you always have a back line, with the idea being that, don't you fucking die on me. Okay. With the idea being that like the back line is like, here's our hero, here's John Hero, and here's squishy wizard. Here's the squishy wizard, and here's the here's our elf. Here's our elf with gigantic tits. You know, male, obviously. Obviously male. The entire idea is that now, like, okay, like this, like the wizard is safe, but he is not in like the ideal place where he should be. And if someone were to die, that he's going to get pushed up in the front line. Because the idea is that, like, if the front line ever collapses, if there is ever a scenario, so let's say we have something like this, and let's say our front line goes away, everyone would shift up until someone is the front line. Now that's kind of one of those exception points with like forward, like, oh, in forward position, you count as, like, you were still there, you're still holding the line, you're just in the front saying, fucking hit me, let's fucking go. But if you go down, everyone would move up until someone is in the front line. So it's kind of shifting people around. That's like why, being in the flank line is kind of dangerous, because no one's in the front line technically, so everyone would move up and get mauled. So it's like, you don't want your main, like, you don't want how do I want to? You don't want your knights and shining armor and your paladins and stuff to be flanking because you want them in the forward position. Or if you have someone flanking, you want them in the forward so they soak the damage. So they say, hit me, come on, kill me, not kill my little twink elf rogue here who's doing fuck all. On the other hand, being in the forward position is saying, I am relying entirely on my armor and my toughness, which is my damage reduction. I am relying entirely on that and nothing else. Oh, that's not too bad, Mr. Notepad. You can do... No. Like, that's very dangerous. Like, that is... You are effectively saying, come on, hit me. Do male elves also have big tits? Yes. And the women have massive penises, you know. I mean, come on. Have you never seen elf physiology? Come on, we learned this in school, people. But that's kind of the that's kind of the situation there. Is I feel like there's another point on this map, but I don't know what it is. Because the way you have to kind of think about this is you've kind of got the, our heroes map, but you also have to now invert that the other direction, kind of like this almost. Probably forward would be better if I put it like here. But like, you kind of got to think about it like, okay, we've got this, but let's see if we can find D&D monster tokens. Oh, did not mean to hit that button. It's like they're on their own lines. That's kind of the thing you got to think about. Like, they're on their own lines, doing their own thing with their own flanks and things like that. So it's like, okay, we're front line. Oh no, there's a fucking evil wizard casting in the back line. What do we do? Well, we need to kill the front line so the wizard gets up so we can maul him. That's kind of the situation I want to get across. Is like, this is the actual battlefield, but you don't really see it like that. You just see it, oh, they're in the front line, they're in the back line, they're in the retreat line. I could probably draw something out to have a more of a visual representation of it. That wouldn't be too difficult, but this was effectively the chief idea behind it. This should work. Again, I feel like there's something missing, and I don't know what it is. Like, I think that's one of the funniest things. Like, again, I feel like there's something, but I don't know what that something is. If I were to add anything, like, right now, it would be like a magic line, almost. Like, and the magic line would be like, you can really, at this range, you aren't really doing anything other than casting. You're not necessarily in the back line. You're not necessarily in the retreat. You're kind of in a weird middle place. But again, that's a very, very specific thing. It's a very specific idea. You kind of even see here in when it comes to like how wizardry. Like, you kind of even see how wizardry is set up. Like, some people are in the front line, some people are in the back line. Who gets hit, who gets where, and things like that. And I'm like, okay, this is correct. But I'm like, how do we make this? It's like, okay, this works, but how do we make this better? Because I feel like I'm missing something, and I don't know what it is. If you have any suggestions, now is the time to tell me. Just make that. Kind of the, yeah, again, like, this works. Don't get me wrong, it works, but it feels like something's missing. Like, something's missing. I don't know what you would call it. Like, what would you call the magic line? I don't know. Like a charge point or something. But like, yeah, it's like you're not in the back line necessarily, but you're not in the back line. Because it's let me see if we can find like isekai. Like isekai fantasy party or whatever. Usually when there's like a caster of some sort. Yes. Yeah, it's like there's this idea of like, okay, here's the fighter. Like, all right, fighter stands in front. Cool. We have established that the fighter is standing in front with his sword and his little shield. Behind him, you have Ranger McPerson. Ranger McPerson has his bow. He's shooting the bow. And then it's like behind them, but not really too far, do you have the wizard and his you have fucking Presto the wizard using magic. You monster. You've shot the demiurge. What are we gonna do now? Shit, what are we gonna do now that the demiurge is dead? Oh no. Yeah, it's like right now, the front line is here. The back line covers both of these. This isn't really a problem in 95% of situations, and I think I could probably solve it if, let's say, like this occurs, let's say the night goes down. Someone, like, it's like you have the option of like both of you are moving up or one of you is moving up. You can say, okay, I'll move up to do it. Be like, okay, cool, I'm fine. You know, the wizard's safe now, and it's kind of more of like a moral thing, if that makes sense. It's a moral obligation to protect the wizard because the wizard / cleric or whatever can do more things. Yeah, it's a very specific. It's a very specific thing. And that very specific problem is it's just a narrative, is literally just a narrative quirk. Also, I have a question. What the fuck is this? Maso Tenkai and Maso Tensai or whatever? What the fuck is this? I've been getting goddamn clips of this show for fucking ever. Yes, he did pay. He paid and made explicit comments that certain individuals should be banned during the development of it. But I digress. Yeah, like, yeah, it's one of those things where I look at it and I'm like, what's the, like, I keep getting so many things, but the problem is, maybe like my problem is not necessarily that it's there, but it's the English dub. Like, I keep getting clips of the English dub. And the guy they have doing like his internal voice, the one they have him sounds like he's doing like a fucking like not AMV, like he's doing a like fucking a bridge series. That's what he sounds like to me. And is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? I don't know, but he sounds like, well, that just happened. I'm waiting for the, well, that just happened. I'm waiting for it. Actually deals with the fact that Neat was doing a Ghiseline build. A what? A Gish? Gish build? Ghiseline? Epstein Island? Nani? I don't want to go to Epstein. Sorry, Epstein Island gets isekai. There's the plot and a half. But yeah, no, it's I keep seeing that and I'm like, this seems something. Muscular cat girl, no fucking idea. Like, isekai at Epstein Island. But yeah, like I've seen this. They keep really promoting this. The only way I know this is the Like, the saddest thing about this, the only thing I know about this particular series is, no, we're not polyamorous, my husband just likes cheating on me. Like, that's all I know. Because apparently he fucks, like, yeah, Mashoko Tensai, jobless reincarnation. Yeah, like that's all I remember. That, like, no, we're not polyamorous. My husband just likes cheating on me. Yeah, but it's like you get some pretty standardized like party compositions and such. It's like, okay, where's the and it doesn't help. Like, one of the major like through points that you could say is solo leveling. And solo leveling doesn't have a party, really. There's no party system. Because only Jinwoo Hoo can actually level up properly. And so it's like, okay, that's not really too exciting. Like, here's the Hunter raid. Like, oh, like, what is... Don't worry, Jinwoo Hoo Jim solo leveling can do these things. And I'm like, I don't get the appeal. I have tried so hard with the Jinwoohoo solo leveling thing. I don't get it. I genuinely do not get the appeal. I keep trying, and it's like, yep, it's definitely a thing that definitely happens, and it's like every Korea slop. I fucking hate Korean manhwa. Because every Korean comic I've read is the exact same. It's very... like... Yeah, again, it... Like, the problem with I have, like, with a lot of the Korean ones, there's exactly 3 Korean webcomics. There is, I can't believe I'm not solo leveling, and it's like, I'm a loser, dude, but don't worry, I've got my bullshit power. 5,000 chapters of nothing ever happens, please. But it's just like, yeah, time for aura farming, and it's just like, shut the fuck up, you're boring. You've got, like, the romance ones, but all the romance ones have some variety of cucking in it. I don't know why. I do not know why so much Korean stuff has cucking in it. And it's not like one. There are multiple. And I don't know why. Like, what's in the fucking... Like, what's in the water in South Korea that's just like, you know what I need to draw? I need to draw getting cocked. Like, this is a paramount thing right now. And then there is, like, the esoteric weird shit that usually always boils down to either being a cuck manga or solo leveling. Again, the esoteric ones start interesting and then goes into cuck manga, or I don't know how it is. The Chinese ones are at least honest, where it's just like, I need to cultivate my inner aura for 54 fucking chapters. Don't worry, I've cultivated enough. Time to do one thing and then continue cultivating. It's like, Jesus. No, it's him getting cucked. The protagonist gets cucked, Archer. That's the problem. It's like literally always the protagonist. Like, oh no, this guy's stealing my girl. And if it's not that, it's always like being ready for that. I don't know. That's all the ones I've read. Like, anytime I see something like, oh, it's Korean, I'm like, nah, I'm good. Good night, sweet prince. I don't need this. I don't need this in my life anymore. I'm a healed man. I'm a good man. I don't believe this. Instead of Law Chaos, Good Evil Axis needs to be Chinese, Korean, Japanese. But yeah, no, it's I think the basic line system should function. Let me see. Let me check my various notes across various books. Let's see. Let's see. Don't need that. We don't need that. There's the One Piece system that we don't need. Oh. Now we do need to add in supernal skills. So... actually, we should do... So, the idea of a supernal skill is that's like the, oh, I've got max level of praise or whatever. That's kind of the idea there, with the underlying current being, oh, you can spend magic points on this. And if you spend magic points on it, you're able to boost up your success levels and things like that. So, like, literally having the, like, farming isekai, fucking, the multiple farming isekais out there, you'd be like, all he has is this supernal farming. That is his one skill that he has. He is supernaturally inclined to farm. Like, that's it. But it's like, oh, what's the appraisal isekai? The fact that there are multiple appraisal isekai does hurt me physically and emotionally. Like, yeah, he just has the appraise skill. That's supernal. That's his gimmick. That's the secret. I also see this one a lot. I see this one a ton now. I don't know why. I read like the first chapter. I'm like, yep, it's definitely exactly what I think it is. The nothing ever happens devil is showing up. The more Korean you get. I wonder if you can think about Reincarnation Coliseum. The more you hate, the more you hate the other gender, the more Korea. Sorry, everyone. You have built too many Korea points. You now work for Samsung. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's certain content. Yeah, there is a certain naughty content in Korea that gets you bonked on the head pretty hard. Yeah, yeah. So having a supernal skill, you wouldn't necessarily, like, and you could have supernal skills naturally through having esoteric classes. So it's like, cool, you have the undead, you have the undeath skill. What does that mean? Congratulations, you can summon the dead. That is literally a gimmick that you have now. Does summoning the dead fix all our problems? No. But having a supernal, like, lockpicking or supernal stealth means, like, yeah, you have supernatural stealth abilities. You have supernatural agility and shit like that. That's kind of the main... That's kind of what I'm going for. I don't know how to do it perfectly, but I think it should function. Should being the operative word here. Ooh. Ah. Mm. This isn't the Prophet. Classic. Yeah, there's... Yeah, currently when it comes down to, like, classes, here's our base classes. I did write out some abilities for them in another notebook entirely because I keep doing that. It's, like, Fighter, Paladin, Monk are mostly frontliners. Spellblade's in there as well, but Spellblade kind of falls in with the Ninja where you want to be flanking with them more than anything. Like adventure, like my idea for them is that they have just a bunch of like little random skills, like not useful skills necessarily, but they're like, here's a supernal skill. Like, hey, you want to invest in supernal skills? Go for it. Hey, do you want to have another class's skill, but no upgrades to it? That's the big thing with the adventure. You can have the monk ability. On the other hand, you get literally no, upgrades to that monk ability. You can't upgrade it at all. It's just that ability. So that would be kind of the idea with the adventure. Priest, again, pretty easy to understand. Dealing how with damage, I might have to give Priest a couple other abilities than outside of just healing. Mages are gonna need something to make them, because my goal is to give everyone about 8 abilities. With the current idea is 4 active, 4 passive. 4 active, 4 passive. Now this doesn't necessarily mean that like those are all the abilities you get, because you can end up selecting multiple of the same ability and do different things with them. So it's like, oh, as a mage, I've got the blast ability. If I want to have fire blast, that's an ability. But I can also have ice blast, lightning blast, or I could do twin casting blast where I have ice and lightning or whatever. Like that's kind of the idea there. It's like you've taken the same ability 3 times, so you just upgraded it in different ways. The only hard ones I could really see here that I was having some struggle with is the where was it? It was the Bard, because the Bard and Priest kind of overlap more than the others. There's a part of me that wants to put Bard in like one of the secondary classes, where it's more like, yeah, you have lore abilities. Wait a minute, this isn't my harem isekai fantasy. This is Darkest Dungeon. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Like, yeah, oopsie doopsie. You thought you were getting a harem fantasy, but instead... But yeah, I know, it's, But yeah, that's kind of the idea there. Like, Bard can get shifted up to do something else. I don't know what that something else should be, though. That's the question, really. This is just redneck wizardry. Yeah, it's Bard can get moved up to like pure class skills. Like, oh hey, you are a fighter bard, you are a paladin bard, you are a ranger bard kind of thing. And you just get a bunch of performance skills, with the idea being, oh, you can take them one as a supernal if you want. On another hand, like, part of me likes it kind of being its own thing. That's a kind of a back and forth there. It's like, oh, why is the Spellblade its own thing? Because Gish is in there. Like, if we do, like, isekai classes, you're thinking about, like, oh, isekai classes. Usually it's things like... Usually they have some bullshit class. Like, oh, I'm the level 8 billion necro healer or some bullshit. It's usually something insane. Like, oh, I'm a necro healer. Isekai Doshu. And which one's this one? This one. I also see this one a lot. I don't know what the fuck it is, but I see this a lot. Yeah, I see this one a lot. This is another one, but it's just like, oh, Shadow Thief, Priest Knight, Dragon Spiritualist. I'm like, oh, like why are we here? Like, yeah. Ah, have no fear. You know, Muhammad is simply min-maxing his hero skills. Yeah. Ugh. Organized King of the Hill character class in the game with Cotton Hill being that department is shinless elderly paladin. Pretty much, yeah. Like some of them fit pretty well. Like, oh, fighter. Like fighters are just going to be hitmen. Paladins kind of have a few different things going on. Like there's a lot of like frontline fighter people, which again is like, do I want to have that as frontline fighter people, or do we get rid of paladin and replace it with something else? There's a lot of things there that might be something that when we hit that point, we have to address it. But generally speaking, I think we're doing good in terms of this game. All the details are there. Everything is present. My only fear is that the commissioner said, oh, I'm not too sure about pet classes. I don't know how to put them in. Like, the thing is, there's a few, actually, I should take that back. There are a few ways of doing, like, a pet class, but I don't know how to put them in elegantly, if that makes sense. And I think that's the ultimate catch there, I think, is like, what's the right way of doing this? Because if we look down here, like, okay, if you have a pet, does the pet, operate on its own? Okay, so that kind of changes the action economy a little bit. Does the pet just stick with you, like in Darkest Dungeon? Because the dog goes where the Houndmaster goes. So it's like, okay, like, feels like there's a right way of doing it, but I don't know how to do it right. Again, it's a very classical, like, I'm gonna turn on my AC, I'm fucking done. Sorry. It feels like there's a way to do it, but doing it that way is like, okay, be an exposition but not occupy space. Luckily with line combats, I don't really need to worry about space necessarily. That might sound a little bit weird, but it's like, anyone, as many people as you want can be in the front line. Doesn't matter. No, that's not a thing to worry about. The only thing to really worry about there is, oh, hey, why do we have a bunch of people in the front line? Now we're all equally able to get smacked in the face. It's more of an efficiency thing. Like, my idea probably for having pets would be, I would need to alternate the action economy quite a bit. And I'm like, how do I want to do that? Like, what's the right way to do that? Because summons and pets and things like that, those are always some of the hardest parts in any game. And if anyone tells you different, understand that they are lying to you. A necromancer class? If you want to play a necromancer, hold me closer necromancer, you'd be taking an esoteric class. That would be like one of these esoteric classes. So it would be, your primary class would be would be mage in secondary, and like a secondary class would be necromancer. You get a bunch of stupid supernal skills, but that's pretty much it. Because I want to make sure that everything is technically available, but how do you learn to be a necromancer? Well, we got to find a necromancer. And the necromancer is going to teach us, hey, I learned how to be a necromancer. Cool. I can bring that back to town. It's kind of like the idea, if someone learns how to be a necromancer, you can bring that back to town, and now later characters can just opt to be necromancers. On the other hand, that's a little bit of a weird thing to put in, right? I think so, more like Sword World. I think that would be my current idea of how to do things is you level up these classes consistently, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Every time you level up this, you technically level up your secondary. So, let's say, for example, I'm a fighter with the rogue secondary, and I'm a level 3 fighter. I would technically have, as a, as a fighter rogue, I would be a level 3 fighter, level 3 rogue. And this is plus 3 fighter abilities. And this would be plus X, plus X to rogue skills. Yeah, that's kind of the idea there. It's like, yeah, you get that bonus to rogue skills now by there, but you have the option of always switching out your secondary class. So let's say I want to be let's say I become a level, let's say I get up to level 5 fighter, but I switch out of being a rogue, but now I'm a level 2 fucking, I don't know. What would be a fun secondary class that you, isekai bullshit class, what, the little bit too specific. If it's a little bit too specific, manslaughter, I mean bard. Yeah, that's like the idea being like, yeah, it's, or in this case, it would be like, yeah, level 2 slut, level 2 slut, plus X to slut skills or whatever. I don't fucking know. Or like, Casanova. Cool. What does that mean? You're a level. You are a level. You are a higher level at doing this, but you kind of trade off these abilities. But on the other hand, if you want to be like a fighter, like I'm a fighter now. I'm a fighter man. It's like, yeah, okay, you have a fighter man, and you have using your supernal skills. Now, one thing, what I was thinking about it when it comes to regular, I should say like mundane versus supernal skills. Like mundane skills build gradually. Like you get a bonus every level. It's a plus. Like they keep getting better. Supernal skills. Supernal skills are set. You just have it. And what do I mean by that? It's having a supernal skill in farming, for example, does not necessarily mean you are better at farming. It means you can use mana to improve it. So as a necromancer, where you get a bunch of supernal skills, you don't get a +3 to your undead skills. You get the ability to spend mana to do things because you have that ability. Oh no, there's a zombie. What do we do? Okay, cool. I'm gonna. Oh, there's a zombie? Cool. Let me use my rank A aura on them to attempt to break their mind, so I get it. When it comes to the warrior, let me open up my notebook here. And I wrote this down in my notebook at work, so you know how quiet it was. So, not use mana to cast. Yes, they are technically using mana to cast. So, in my notebook here, for like a fighter, for like active abilities, I've got something like Heroic Strike, which just is more damage. And the idea is that you can improve your Heroic Strike by, instead of saying, oh, instead of picking up Perfect Hit, Feint, or Perfect Guard, or whatever, you are instead saying, no, I want to improve Heroic Strike by increasing my damage by another die, or whatever. Or I want to do this, and you're spending more magic doing it, more magic points. But yeah, they've got like bonus damage, bonus to hit in general, being able to feint, which is putting a penalty on their parry dodge, and being able to guard better. And they also have some passive abilities, which also can be improved. But it's kind of the idea of, oh, hey, you are a fighter and you have invested entirely into, like fucking Bulwark to get a bonus to using shields. You have put everything into using shields. You don't have the ability to use big attacks, but you are really good with your fucking shield. That's the point. While going down to something like the Spellblade, for example, like the Spellblade's entire thing is they have like 2 abilities in which they are really reliant on, and you're supposed to be really increasing one of those 2 abilities up. And one of them is like, oh, I can turn my sword, or I can turn my weapon into an elemental affinity. And because I turned it into an elemental affinity, it does X, Y, and Z now. Or, oh, hey, because I summon my blade or whatever to my hand. It's abilities like that. Same thing with like ninja and monks and stuff. Like they all get abilities that you can improve or just take more of. My goal is, this is the dream of dreams, is the fighter, for example. 3 players play a fighter. Each of those fighters can be different from one another, with this limited set of abilities and things. Because one guy said, like, I want to go full on with Heroic Strikes. I want to go with like Warrior's Heart so I get a big benefit. I want to make like a barbarian character. Playing a barbarian character is just playing a fighter and going in real hard on some passive abilities, because your entire goal is to stand in the forward line and keep hacking away with a fucking greatsword or whatever. Versus, oh, I want to play kind of more of a defensive fighter. Okay, I want to take things like Bulwark, Unbreakable. I want to take Perfect Guard. I want to take Feint. I want to take things that maybe aren't doing damage, but are making it easier for me to hit people or protect other people a lot easier. Versus someone who wants, hey, I want to be kind of like a hybrid. I want to use like a fencing. I want to be a fencer. Cool. You can take fencing ability. You can take abilities to reinforce that fencing abilities. So it's, okay, 3 characters, 3 different fighters, all technically the same class, but have very gradually changed how they approach fights and stuff. And this is also extending to things like equipment, armor, and shit like that. Some of them are, again, it's like one of the ones I'm like not too, there's an honest to God part of me that wants to break this down into like the most raw options of, let me, only thing, like you only have fighter, ninja, adventurer, priest, mage. That's it. Those are all of your classes. You have nothing else. Why not put a rogue in there? Or a thief or whatever. But I'm like, okay, a thief sounds more like a normal thing, not like special. Like, those are just your classes. Everything else is just a subclass you can take with it, or an ability that you can have with it. That's kind of my ideas with it. But on another part of me is like, I kind of like the idea of having more classes that you can augment as well. There's an appeal there. I think that has its benefits. But yeah, that's kind of the idea when it comes to like supernal skills. Supernal skills are you saying, I have the ability to spend my magic points to improve this very actively. A mage is going to be burning through their magic points very quickly because a lot of their abilities rely on using magic, and a lot of magic. On the other hand, they get to say, fuck you, fireball. The fighter does not get to say, fuck you, fireball. As easily, anyway. On the other hand, you know, the fighter is using his magic for special abilities and things like that. But if you have a supernal skill, you can say, hey, I want to burn magic points to make this really good. I want to burn magic points to improve my odds of doing this. I want to spend 5 magic points or mystic point. I don't know how I want to fucking word them yet. I want to spend this resource to improve my odds of doing something that is blatantly supernatural. But if you have you can later on, something like the adventurer, for example, the adventurer can turn skills, can just give himself special supernal skills. As an adventurer, you can say, hey, I'm an adventurer rogue, therefore I'm going to give stealth the supernal. I'm still improving my ability to use stealth. I'm still getting a bonus to it because I'm a rogue or whatever. On the other hand, I am also saying I want to be able to turn into shadows. Why? Because I think that's cool, and I'm okay with that. That idea works. I think the basic premise of the game functions. My only 2 concerns right now, I'm gonna be very honest with everyone here. My 2 concerns are, 1, there's a lot of charts, and charts take time, and that's just going to be something I'm going to be sitting probably in VC one night and just hammering out dozens upon dozens of charts. This is not a problem. This is just a... How do I want to word it? It's going to be time consuming, and time consuming things make me sad. Make me real sad. Oof. Oof. Oh, God. But another part of me, another very real part of me that's afraid, is that the commissioner says he doesn't like this system. He doesn't like the resolution system. So I would have to rewrite all of that, and that might change some things pretty drastically. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But you know what? I'm ready. I'm ready if it does happen. Because I'm that kind of guy. Always plan for the worst. But let's see. It's we've been going about an hour and a half. Not too long today, but not too much to talk about either. It's a very, again, this is not complicated. I think that's the big thing here. This is not a, here's 8,000, things that really need to be done. What we're at now is we need to do it. Technically, I have this. It's not a perfect cover. I know what I want with it. I kind of got the font for things. We're using Lancelot, and technically I should change that from Arial to something else, but I don't know what. Again, I'm not like... It's a very specific concept of what I want to have happen, but that very specific concept is also a pain in the ass, because Magic Internet Machine doesn't like very specific concepts. So, but, looking at here, not too much else to talk about. If you have any further questions, you can DM me on the Discord. I'm going to say thank you all, Godspeed, good luck, and I will see you all maybe another time, maybe sometime this week, hopefully, maybe. I literally need to text my boss now and figure out at what time things are tomorrow, because my boss is my boss. Yippee!